Okay, it's working. Nice. Okay, it's streaming to both platforms. Not sure exactly what was going on, but now it works. So let me set chat to all. Okay, now let's get started. So, first thing we want to do is essentially lay out the user interface. I would, I would think so, right? We'll go ahead and create just the main UI first. Um, from there, kind of want to see how do I want to lay this stuff out. I'm terrible at UI, so if yeah, you know, if anyone wonders why my UI looks like it was written by a 3-year-old, it's because I'm completely terrible at it. But essentially, what we want to do is get the bare bones out, right? We can polish it later. Part of my issue with game dev is that I always attempt to polish things before I even need to polish them. So um, from there, we'll go ahead and what we want is um, probably a margin container of some sort, right? So that way it actually fits into the screen properly. We'll set that to full width. And then we can come in here and do the theme. Yeah, we should probably create a theme that is completely used by the project, right? So let's go ahead and save this as, we'll create a new folder. Let's just call this, well, no, I don't want to call it resources because the folder that we're in is resources. So we'll just say settings, or yeah, we'll call it settings. So we have a settings folder, and we'll call this main theme and create that. So then that way, when we come in here, we can, it kind of sucks. Like, I don't know why they do it this way, but this is how you do it in Godot from what I know. I'm by no means a Godot professional. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, for this type, we're going to have a margin container. And then we'll go through and we'll look at, what's difference on these margin containers. We're going to go ahead and enable all of these changes. These are like the default overrides for them. So what we want though is like probably like 10. This is just so that when we put stuff into, you can see this yellow line, right? That we're not going to get our words right up against the side because we don't want that. So we'll save that. And I go up a directory, call this scenes, main UI scene. So that part is done there. Let me open up a thing real quick. I just want to make sure that I'm actually, like, everything's actually working. Nope, I don't want any ads, bro. Creator dashboard, manager stream. Okay, so I think everything's here. Let me see. Can I? Yep, okay, I can hear myself. So that means I'm not talking to myself and I can see myself. So that's all I really cared about. We'll go ahead and close that now. Okay, so we have a margin container. Inside the margin container, we are going to, we need to break it up into the top part and the bottom part. The top part's probably going to have the ciphered word, and then the bottom part's going to have like what the user's going to be able to type in. Eventually, I'd like them to be like tiles, and you can like click the tiles and select each letter and everything like that, which might make it a little better. But for now, we're going like very, very rudimentary UI that doesn't need to be there. So what we want is a horizontal or an HBox container, no, a VBox, sorry, VBox container. And we'll go ahead and set that to expand and expand. Well, that's weird. Why won't you let me set this center? Container sizing, fill. Okay, well, whatever. And then from here, we'll create a label. Okay, so the label is going to be there. Let's go ahead and write just like test or something. We want this to be in the center for now. We don't care about that, but we'll call that center as well. So inside our VBox, we have this. I'm trying to think. Do we want? I should probably throw that into a row. And that way we have the rows, because we're going to have to, like, right now, if we do it this way, the test is going to be here, but we want it in the center. Yeah, let's create another, actually, you know what? We'll duplicate this, throw this in here. We have another VBox. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to shift everything up in this VBox. So we'll do begin, right? And then here, this will be VBox container 2. We'll duplicate. We're going to delete that. Delete that. Okay, so now we have two VBoxes inside the VBoxes. We want this to take up the full one, but we want this to take up half. So let's do container sizing. Let's expand it. Then if we expand this one as well, yeah, okay. So now we have, you know, them in the middle. And right, like this was the test word. We're just going to put, and yeah, I just realized it's probably kind of hard for you guys to see that, isn't it? Well, I don't know actually, because if this is full screen, it probably isn't. I think you guys would be able to see it because it should be pretty similar to what I'm seeing. Granted, we can definitely turn up the displayed text, default text size and everything in here. So we can do that though by coming in here and finding a label. Do they not? Oh yeah, label. So we want the label here. So let's go ahead and create a label override. We'll go to text. We'll just use the system. I don't want to do that. Sorry, it's hard to see what they're. Yeah, let's just do system font for now. Open Sans is fine. Yeah, I mean, that's all fine. What we want is font size. So let's go here and let's create this to be like, this is going to be too big at first, but we'll do 48. Okay, so now we have an override on font size, We're slowly laying everything out the way we want it to be. This here, we need to change this type. We don't want this to be a label. We want this to be a text, or I think they call it line edit in, yeah, in Godot, it's called a line edit. The line edit, we want center. Write your guess here. Or it's actually, we want that to be placeholder text. Center max length. This is all fine. What we want to do though is we want this to be a little bit easier to read. So let's do a line edit override. The reason we're doing it, like we could just do this all in the menu, but the way it works in Godot is like, unless you do it in this theme thing, then we'd have to do it in every time we want to do it, and that's not something we want to do. So this will also be 48, or oh gosh, 48. Yeah, let's do that. Write your guest here. Right. And then what we'll do is outside of here, we will create a button, right? That just says check guess. And then, of course, we have to come in here and create an override for button because that also is too small. Font size. Let's do 36. Check guess. Okay. So, right, you're going to get your test word. People will be able to write what they think it is, and then they be able to check guess. Like I said, like this is very rudimentary UI right now. Eventually what I'd want is like tiles, kind of like Scrabble tiles or something, where you'd be able to like click each letter and put it in, which would also kind of give more of a hint of what the word could be based on the amount of tiles that are available. That's how many letters would be in the word. But do not over optimize. That is the I'm terrible at that. I always over optimize stuff. But I mean, now we can kind of start getting into the actual logic in the game, right? So what we want is like we're gonna start is have a bag of words and then types of ciphers. When you create like when you want a new level, you would grab a random word out of the bag. You would apply a cipher to it, and then the check guess would essentially reverse that cipher to make sure that it's right for what you thought the word was going to be. So to do that, we'll create like a global object that manages most of this stuff. In proper development, you don't want global objects and everything, but for this, it's gonna be pretty fast, and yeah, together should work fine. So let's call this, first off, we don't want to put that in scenes. We want that to be in scripts. So we'll create a scripts thing. Let's just call this game manager. So there's different ways you can do this. You could actually create globals in Godot if you want to. But doing this and putting it directly on, you know what though, because if we do that, eventually, yeah, I'm going to get into over optimizing. It's going to suck. Here, let's cancel that real quick. We'll do it this way just for now. So projects, project settings, globals. We want an auto load. The path is going to be inside scripts. And let's call this, or actually when we do this, it'll be fine. We want to be called game manager. Click add, put this inside scripts. We'll hit OK. Create. The reason we're doing this is because the way the scenes work right now, I have this called main UI, but this is likely going to be like level UI. So we're going to have to move that down, and then we'll have like a main UI that has like a hey new puzzle that you'd click, and then it would load this scene into it. So if we put game manager on this scene, it wouldn't exist in the main scene, and we want game manager to be accessible from everywhere. So that's why we did not put it directly on here. In here, we'll call this, we're going to create a script on it, but it's not going to be called that. It would be called probably like word scene or something, or new puzzle scene. Yeah, we'll call it puzzle or cipher scene. Yeah, we should probably call it cipher scene. So we'll call this cipher scene. I know that's not how you spell cipher, but it's just a play on words. So, or play on the letters technically for cyber. But yeah. Yeah, cipher Oh wait, that's in, yeah, that is in scripts. So cipher scene, yeah, that works. We'll just do that. And then this is now attached to here. So we would be able to then call into, I'm going to turn down scaling of this window a little bit. Actually, here we want to do this to, I think when you create like UI only, you want this to be set to canvas items, and then you want expand. I think, if I remember correctly, I am by no means a Godot expert. Matter of fact, I am very game engine and language agnostic to where I do not care what is used. Um, so let's change this editor settings though to custom display scale. See, that's weird because I thought this looks a little big to me. I have to restart. I don't want to restart. Whatever. Hopefully this is good enough. Let's just do that. Do this. Do this. And yeah, hopefully that's good enough. And and viewable. I would think. You know what? Oh wait. Oh, I can actually control them. Okay. Well, that works. Okay. Um. So this is called GameManager.gd. It'll be available into everything else. So what we want to do here is have like a few of our variables and everything laid out. I've been writing Python recently, so some of my syntax might be wrong in the way that things are done. But hopefully this will work properly. Let's just create bag of words and create uh, um, we'll say Twitch, YouTube. Of course, these are not going to be valid words. We'll pull these from like a dictionary, either have like a offline dictionary that's inserted, or maybe make an API call to grab like a random word. I think there's a few websites that give you random words, but we'll deal with that later. For now, we're just going to have like 3 words, and we'll say Godot, right? So these are the bag of words. So these would be the options that we're going to do. And then we would want to apply ciphers to each one of these. So we would need like a cipher resource class that's going to be created that would take in a word, give you back a cipher, and then allow you to manipulate those and reverse them. So we might want to go ahead and create that as well. So scripts, create new. We're going to create a new type of script. And we're going to change the inheritance into resource, if I remember correctly. And then we'll call this a cipher resource. So this extends resources, and we can do like a class name. Cipher extends a resource, right? And then it's like, let's do like var original word, var um, it's not encryption, but we're just going to call it encrypted word. Var is solved. So all of these, right, is going to be trying to think, how do you do this in here? I think it's like that. Cannot find, oh no, okay, so, sorry, I haven't, trying to remember how Godot does these things. The syntax for Godot. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think it's like that. String, Boolean, right? amount of guesses. So we want to track how many times they've been guessed. So then here we should do like an init function, right? And in here, what we would pass in is the word to cipher. See, if I start spelling it the right way, then it's going to be spelled both ways throughout the thing. I just need to spell it the wrong way the entire time, which is probably a bad idea, but whatever. So then we would set original word is going to be equal to word to cipher. Func is going to be create or I don't want to call it initialize cipher. What is it going to be called? Complete. Run cipher. Let's just call it run cipher. Sure. Sounds good. And this will then... Actually, we don't need to return it because we're in a class. We'll just set it directly. So we're going to run the cipher. And here's where we're probably going to actually create another resource where you're going to assign the type of cipher you want to the cipher. So like we would do here, we would have actually var cipher type. There's a reason why I'm doing it like this. I promise eventually it might make sense, but whatever. Var cipher type, and this will be of type cipher type. Run cipher, and then what you would do is like you would take the cipher type here, right? And you would say like exit or run like this, and then you would pass in the original word, and then you would, whatever the cipher type that you're going to run on it, you would say the encrypted word would be, the encrypted word would equal cipher type dot run, right? So, and then that would give you the encrypted word back. So then you would get your original word here, then you would say run cipher. Like that, right? So now what we need to do is implement the cipher type. So from here, we will create a new you know what? I want to call this cipher word instead. Sorry, OCD is kind of getting to me when it comes to this. So we're going to call this cipher word instead, and then we're going to change this to cipher word. Like that. And then here we'll just have cipher. That way we're a little bit more ready for everything, right? So this would be type cipher. So here, this doesn't actually need to be a resource type because we're not going to be setting it inside the game a lot. These are going to be kind of immutable types that are just going to have functionality. So let's go ahead and just create it as a regular script, and we'll call this cipher. And we don't want this to be a node, we just want this to be an empty object because it doesn't need to be added to the scene in itself, right? We just need to instantiate it and run it when it needs to be ran. So class name cipher extends node, and then here is the only thing you really need to we need to implement in cipher is essentially we probably want like a disc, like so name of cipher string name of cipher, right? We want this to be a base class. Sorry, now I'm getting into over optimization. Okay, so right, because like what you kind of want is you would want like a base cipher class, which is going to have all of the things, and then you would have the types of ciphers that you do. So you'd have like your base Cypher class, and then you'd have like Caesar Cypher, which would then implement the Caesar Cypher based on that base class. Which I mean, we can still do this way, but var name of cipher, var description. I hate it because I'm pretty sure Godot has a default property called name, and we don't want that. Because I would just say name. I hate having a cipher class and then saying name of cipher inside of it, because then it kind of gets rid of the point of it. Yeah, so we'll just say name of cipher for that. Description is going to be a string as well. Maybe a hint, right? So that way when we want to implement like a hint, so like if they ask like, hey, well, what kind of cipher is this? Maybe the user wants to know what type of cipher and like how it works. Because like this, it's not just a game for like solving stuff, which I mean is the primary purpose, but it's also a game to kind of help you learn and figure out like how like the history and stuff of these things, which will like go to Wikipedia or something and pull out the information that's needed from there and fill these out. So let's just do that for now. And then we're just going to have a function called run, I believe is what it was. And that's going to take in a word to cipher, and that's going to be a string, and it's going to return a string, and we'll pass So now is the time where we go into finding out how to write an abstract class. That was a new thing, if I remember correctly, when I was reading patch notes. That was a... Let me do this. Sorry, real quick. Let me go to the docs. Go.engine docs. Here we go. And then from here, get back over here. The default Godot docs, in 4.6 they implemented an abstract class. I don't know. If I remember correctly. So you should be able to write abstract things now, which abstract just means that they're implemented concretely somewhere else, right? Since 4.5, you can define abstract class and methods using abstract annotation. So you would have like abstract class with an abstract function, right? So we would say abstract class cipher. We can't extend node, apparently. And then, but these will need to be like that, I'm guessing. And then we need an abstract func run, just like that. Yeah, right. So that's essentially how you would write this abstract class in GD script, I'm guessing. Which we can find out, right? So what we'll do is we will create a implementation, concrete implementation of this abstract class. Just so everyone knows, I am not a programmer. I don't have any formal programming schooling or anything like that, right? I'm completely self-taught when it comes to programming stuff. So what I'm saying, what I call things might not be what those people that actually go through schooling for this stuff would call them. But let's continue on. So here we're going to inherit from Cypher itself, right? Cypher word, or no, not Cypher word. from Cypher. I don't like this. This is weird. No, I want to inherit from cipher.gd. And we will call this rot. Rot cipher. Invalid. Why is this invalid, bro? Maybe because I don't want a template. Yeah, it's weird. Abstract class name, abstract class, abstract subclass. That's weird. I don't like that, but whatever. I guess that's what we're doing, right? So extends node. So what we would do is we would say rot cipher class name rot cipher extend cipher. We're about to find out if this works or not. The things that we need to implement, right, would be bruh. Okay, I don't know why I was doing that, but what we need to I'm getting it. That's weird. I'm used to these would be like IntelliSensed out, but what we'll do is we'll say name of cipher. So what we're actually going to do here, right, is right, this would actually, would this have to be in the init? Oh my gosh. What would you do, like self? Right now, we'll just return nothing. Okay, well, I mean, I got rid of the stuff. It got rid of the errors. That means it works, right? We'll find out. So name of cipher, we'll call this rotation cipher. And now is where we actually have to start spelling it correctly. So a rotational cipher is, let's go in here, and let's go to Wikipedia and say rot cipher. We'll just go to rot 13 because that's the most common Caesar ciphers, special case Caesar cipher is ancient knows. It's a simple substitution cipher. In cryptography, a substitution cipher is a method of encrypting that creates the ciphertext. So let's go ahead and we'll say substitution ciphers can be compared to, so we'll just go in here for a description and say first time chatting, viewers, stream boo. It looks like it's probably a bot, but hey, at least there's a bot in my stream. I should feel special. Hi, bot. I'm not sure who that is. I don't really care. Whatever. Let's continue and move on. So a simple substitution cipher that can use that rotates each letter by a given position in the alphabet. To reverse the cipher, you want to change you want to rotate each letter in the opposite direction. Right, so let's see here. So what we would do is we take in the string, we need to generalize this type of cipher so that it can be done with anything that we give it, right? So the way you would do that typically is you would assign each letter in the alphabet to a certain number, and then you would add that number to each one, and then you would take those numbers and you would reverse them back into letters. The computers already do that with ASCII, right? So what we could do is take the ASCII amounts. The issue that you're going to run into with ASCII is that you have different numbers for each for upper and lower cases. So that means that what we are going to want to do probably is let's just make everything uppercase. It'll be easier that way, which will get rid of at least one part of the issue that we might run into. So what we want to do is go into GDScript and see if we can get the ASCII. Let's see what they have for ASCII here. Can we text get ASCII? Convert Godot string to Godot char string to C string return. Okay, so let's see here. If we were to do this, let's just do we'll just keep this return in here because we don't really care right now. What we want is we want to just print word to cipher dot ASCII is valid to ASCII buffer. Let's see what this does. So then we have cipher word. Cipher word is going to be assigned to cipher. So abstract class cipher. Could not find cipher type. Dude, why do you guys hate me? Cipher, abstract class cipher. Abstract class. Do I have to add this as like a global or something? Like, why isn't this showing up? Let's go back. If you want to declare a method to be overwritten, you should use non-abstract method and provide a default implementation. Oh, optional. No, we don't want that. At abstract class name extends node. Okay, so I think that's what we want. It's not going to find this. Extends node. Let's do that. And then that way, oh, that's dumb. What's the point of having an abstract class then? I have to assign it. Oh, I mean, this is going to be a cipher word, so the issue is that I wanted this to be exposed, right? As it should be able to take any cipher. So let's do export var, right? Because I mean, these all want to be exported in essence, because this is like, I'll show you right now why we would want this to be. This is annoying though, because I want to be able to select any type of cipher. All the types of ciphers should be shown inside this resource. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about here, let me show you. Right, let's just remove this for now. We'll remove that for now as well, and let's just pass for now. So then what we would do, right, is in here, let's create a folder, and we're going to call this resources for now. I don't care. We would create a new resource, and the new resource would actually be a cipher word, right? And then we would say, I don't know, word one dot here, right? And this would be like, let's say we had Godot, right, as one of it. And then amount of guesses, right? And here there should be a drop down that allows you to select what it is. So if I remember reading docs correctly, I believe we might be able to just get away with this by doing an export and setting this to a variant type, which I don't like, but object of no, 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 go away. I can't see everything. We don't want that. We want rot. This is so freaking annoying. I don't like it. This would be of type cipher. I feel like you would have to do contains abstract methods. So what we would want, right? And I don't like doing it this way, but I think this is the only way you're actually going to get around it. And then that way you would be able to say, well, no, because now this is still saying that. Cipher. Why are you mad about this? What are you saying is, I don't know what they're saying about that. But node export is only supported in node derived classes. Okay. Well, wait, that is a node derived class, weirdos. But the current class inherits from resource. So does this have to be a resource too? Okay, well that got rid of that. So could I go back and do abstract? Abstract? Maybe I just have to do it this way. Maybe the docs just aren't good. I can't see, apparently. Yeah, so maybe I just need to do it. Okay, well that got rid of that. That got rid of that. So now, um, might have to delete this resource. Watch, I'm like finding bugs as I'm doing this apparently. So we create a new cipher word and we'll say this is word one. Word one is going to be a resource. Wait, what? Okay, we have cipher word. Create new resource, and we want this to be, we're going to call this word one. So this has to be of type node. Let's do this, extends of type cipher. I was probably mad about that. So word one. Okay, and now we show up as raw cipher. Hey, we got it working. Um, so the original word would be like Godot is solved. No, but the good news about it is that you could technically now in the game manager, see we have raw cipher, cipher word. And then in here, which is the main cyber scene, let's go ahead and get a reference to, let's call this cipher current cipher word. I just don't want to call it something that might actually be used as a name somewhere. So when we load this scene up, what we want to do is we want to, so when it's ready, we want to take this current cipher word and we want to set it, well first let's get a cipher itself. So new cipher equals, and then this is where we would say word one. What we would want to do is, this is a resource that we need. So we need to load this resource. I think there's like a resource loader. Class, global class, resource loader. Okay, so let's do this. Let's just say resource loader dot load. Okay. Word one. New cipher dot. Let's print new cipher real quick. And let's see what happens when we hit play. Oh, well, I shouldn't have selected that. we want this to be our main scene. Oh gosh, I hate this thing. Project main. Create your default scene again. I shouldn't have. This is what happens when you click stuff too fast. I should have done this differently, but let's say run current scene. Script inherits from no native node, so it can't be assigned to an object type of resource. It's like, what? Script inherits from native type node. I mean, this doesn't actually have to extend anything, does it? Yeah, okay. So here we have a resource. Okay, so from here we should be able to say like new cipher dot what was it, original word? What did I call it? I don't know what I called it. Yeah, original word, right? So dot original word. We should be able to print that, right? Not executed on a base project of type resource. Original word cipher. Right? Because it doesn't. Cipher word extended. What does this extend? It's funny because it says it extends of type resource, but word one dot cipher word. We need to call dot cipher word on it. Let's get the property list and call that back. See what it says. Hint. Class name. Class name. Um, like this should just be. I thought this would just be like that, original word, but it does not like that. What is new cipher? Let's see here. Um, Maybe I did this wrong. Let me delete this real quick. Let's create a new rot cipher. No, that is incorrect. We don't want to do that. We want to create a new resource of type cipher word. Oh, is that why? Class name cipher word extends resource. But is that going to make us mad? Cipher word. word1, if type resource, we want this to be a rot cipher, we want this to be Godot, and we want to save it. And then here, we just want to do that. Type word1, and word1 definitely has .cipherword, so would I have to do .cipherword .original word? I don't think so. Okay, so let's just do new cipher and run it and see. Oh, I'm dumb. Yeah, it's because okay, so you have to load the resource, right? And then you have to initialize it, isn't it? Dot init. Is that what it is? Initializes, so it wouldn't be that though, but it would be like, so what does this return? This returns a resource, loads of resource given path, optional type hint. So we would give it a type hint of, this would be cipher word, maybe? Is that what you want? Yeah, so then maybe we would be able to do var, and this is going to be of type cipher word, and then new word would be of original word. I need to assign value of type resource to variable of type cipher word. Do I have to call it .new on that? See, it's weird because I mean, the truth is we would be creating these in general. We wouldn't actually be creating them like this. I just wanted to kind of show you guys how they were used. Um, like, like that. With the cipher word script that gets attached to it, right? I just don't get why this isn't showing me it. You know what? Let's do this real quick and see what happens. Okay, so that's the problem is I was trying to init it, but nothing was actually ever calling init. That's because we would need the init function when we're calling it from code probably, but because we're creating it in here, I believe it already gets initialized. So here you would call then cipher type dot run, which would get it, and then we would call, so here, let me stop that. So here we would call, we would print the original, and then we would say that the var, the current cipher word dot text is equal to the new cipher dot run. Well, actually, yeah, I did this wrong. We would do new cipher dot run, and then this would be new cipher dot encrypted word. I find it weird. Can I not? This should be, I should be able to do this, right? Cipher word. Should be able to say, hey, this is this type. Cipher word, run cipher. Oh, that's why. Let's do that. Yeah. So here we have the ASCII code. This is all, it's working, at least the way I designed. So here we're getting the ASCII letters back, right? I'm pretty sure that is right. 71. Actually, I don't know because 41 would be. 41 is capital A. So let's see. If I do this, and let's just say A, right? And save that and run this again. 65, 65, 65. Oh, wait, no, that's uppercase. Lowercase a is 41. 97. I'm confused now because I could have swore uppercase A was 41. The uppercase A. X. Oh, it's giving me decimal back, not hex. That's why. Okay. So, I mean, not a big deal, but so that means it's working properly. So what we need to do though is look at, right? We have to say A is 65 is max, and we need Z is 90. So in essence, we need a wrap. If anything goes to 90, we actually need to shoot it back to 65. Uh, there's ways to do this. I'm guessing I would have to use like modulus or something like that. So let's go to Rot Cipher. We do the ASCII buffer, and let's just set to so max character would be 90. It's going to be equal to 90 bar max character is equal to 90 bar min character is going to equal, what did we say, 65? Yeah, 65. So when we do this, we'd say we'd have Godot. We go through each letter, so var ASCII letters, and that's going to equal this, and then we'd say for letter in ASCII letters print letter. Okay, let's see if this still all works properly. Yes, okay, so we get that. So what we want to do then is we want to say like the amount to do. it's going to be a rot cipher. Let's just hard code in var rot amount is going to be 13 because that's the original Caesar cipher, right? Yeah, the original I think Caesar cipher is 13, so we'll do 13. So what we want to do then is we want to take each character and we want to add 13, add the rot amount to it, right? But you're going to see that we're going to run into some issues here because this 97 is higher than what our highest could be, right? Our highest is actually 90, so 92, and yeah, so we need to then wrap it, right? So there's a few ways that we can do it. I mean, we could do manual checks, right? Like if this is going to be over 90, then start at 65 total letter, blah, 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 blah. But I think we can actually do something if we if we do letter, uh, let's print that the letter, and then let's do. I don't think we can do mod like that, can we? Pause mod. This modulus. Return the integer of the modulus divided by it wraps equally in positive and negative. So if we had like the x, we would want this to be man, I don't know if I want to do that much math. Right, because I mean you should just be able to do like pause mod. And we would do this, add another there, do a comma, and then do max character, right? I'm confused. Why is this being stupid? So what does this do? Yeah, right. So this would tell us that we have two, so we wrapped, right? So then what we would do is we would do this, and then we would add it. Then we would add it to the min character, right? And that would give us like our wraparound. Well, it gave us the wraparound for these, but it didn't give us the wraparound for the other ones. Oh, because we need to do a check. Yeah, so we need to say like, so if letter, well, no, so let's do rotted, var rotted letter is going to be equal to letter press rot amount. We're going to say if the rotted letter is greater than the max character, we are going to want to wrap rat char actually we can just say rotted letter is going to equal the pos mod. So we would say rotted letter plus max character pos mod. Right. So if it's, we're gonna wrap it and we're gonna do it that way. So our is end final chars is going to be equal to that. So if pos mod is that, we're going to do it. If not, then we don't. Then we'll just take what it has, right? So then we'll say final chars dot append the rotted letter, and then at the end we will print the rotted. Ugh. Sorry, keyboard's in a weird place. Final letters, final chars. Right, so let's see if this looks correct. Yeah, I mean, that looks correct. The only way to figure out if it is then to say, so we could do like a string dot from, string dot from. Do they not have a from ASCII? Dude, come on. Did I just do all this and they don't even have a, like, if you have a to ASCII, why wouldn't you have a from ASCII? From ASCII. Get string. What did that say it was? Packed byte array. So we would have to actually have a packed byte array. So we'd say like packed byte array PBA equals packed byte array new or packed byte array. Let's just do that. And then we would say PBA dot get string from ASCII final. Yeah, so this would be, so instead of final chars doing that, we would say packed byte array. And we would say append this to the packed byte array. We would say final chars dot get string from ASCII and hit play. Yeah, so ECQCH. So it looks like it's working, at least for the initial cipher part, right? We can find this out by going to like online Caesar cipher. Let's just do this real quick. Let's just do ignore case, say Godot, NV TBQBG are off by 1. think that this might just be because of greater than or equal to, but I don't think that's right, is it? Because we don't want it if it's equal to, because that's the max character that we would want, right? So that would be the max 90. So it would have to be greater than, because we don't want it to be, we don't want to do that because that would turn it back to 65 if it was greater than or equal to. So I'm guessing, I don't know, like I'm confused why it would be -1. Unless maybe the original Caesar cipher adds one to it, or like counts the first letter as the first shift, possibly. Because if you, so wait, if I Caesar cipher as well, right? So that would be HP. So like if I wanted to route 1, H Pepu, H Pepu. Okay, so I mean, whatever. I'm just gonna do that -1 there. I'm not exactly sure why I have to -1 there, but it might have to do with the way the pos mod works. I mean, maybe it's just mod. You know what? This is over optimizing right now. I can figure that out later. Um, but either way, so that does that, right? And then what we want to do here is we want to return. We want to return that, right? So now we would get it up here, right? And what we want to do is we want to set, so we ran CypherWord, right? And this is what it's going to do. So what we want to do now then is go into the Cypher scene and let's get this 2D here, this check yes, and signals. You know what, I prefer to do this myself. You can do it via signals like that, but I'd rather just do it like this, and then on ready we'll do button dot on, or what is it, dot, man, where is the button down? That's right, because Godot likes to be different. Dot connect, and we'll call this check the cipher. So on button down, we're going to call that, and then func check the cipher, and that's good for now. We'll do check the cipher, and then we'll say we need a current guess is line edit. Check the cipher. So we'll say current guess dot text dot capitalize. Does this capitalize everything? Changes the appearance of the string, replaces underscores with spaces, adds spaces before uppercase letters in the middle of a word. Nah, bro, I just want it to be upper. To upper. Yeah, okay, so we'll do to upper. So current guess is dot to upper. So when we do this, we'll say and then here we want new cipher to be this, the original word, current guess dot, here we want the cipher word, and we want a func check if string, and we will return a bool. So we'll say check if correct with a guess, and we're going to say if guess dot to upper, just in case. This is just to set it. Hello? Thought I heard knocking. If guess to upper, if guess to upper is going to equal original word to upper, just in case, once again, we will set is solved equal to true, and we will return is solved, because this is going to be a false. Sorry, I've been doing Python recently, and Python is, for some reason, they capitalize their booleans. I don't even like it. I don't know why I'm stuck doing it right now. So that'll be our default. So we're going to check the cipher here, and then that just means that all we have to do is new cipher dot check if correct, and we will pass in the current guess, no, current guess dot text. So we do this current guess dot text, and then let's just print, because we're gonna do a value and say print. So let's say check guess false false, but if I write Godot, true, Godot, true. So it doesn't matter if I do it uppercase or lowercase, but right, I mean, this is essentially the very basis of the game, like completed. Now what we do is you write different types of ciphers for each one. So that was a rot cipher with hard coded to 13, but I would create another cipher. And as long as it implements the same check and everything like that, we would always get this, right? And actually, just to do this here real quick, let's do T. Let's do something like this and rename it to last is solved, right? And we'll set that to nothing for right now. But we'll go into script and we'll say, check this, right? And this is the cipher screen. So now what we want to do is we'll get is solved, and we'll say, so if this is all correct, then what we will do is say is solved dot text equals correct, else is solved dot text equals right again. It's mad about something. What are you mad about, bro? Oh, apparently I renamed something on accident. Okay, so now, right, when we do this, nothing's here. We say, try again, Godot, correct. So like I said, like this is the very basis. I think I'm going to be done for now. This is actually my day off, and I've been streaming for about an hour and a half, so that's good. But in essence, this is what the game is going to be like. I just need to implement other ciphers. I'll probably do some streaming on that if needed. Hopefully you guys got something out of it if anybody did watch, or if anybody will watch, because this is also going to be on my YouTube channel. I'll upload it as past stream. But yeah, I think that's everything I was going to do. It took us what, hour and a half to implement the very basics of the game, which I mean isn't too bad. Of course, there's no good UI or anything, but that'll be something that will be implemented afterwards. So, thanks.